Okay, we're about ready to go with the action of Championship Wrestling. Standing in the ring right now, the Raiders, and that's a new tag team. Maybe you were here once before. Coming out, the Big Freedom Fighters. And, brother, if you have not seen these guys before, let me tell you, you're looking at two specimens. The Freedom Fighters, Flash and Justice. Flash being Steve Borden. Dave and I were talking. Perfect.
Yeah, Flash Borden. Yeah.
Okay. And the enforcer of the group, the 285-pound Jim Hellwig, who is known as Justice, Flash and Justice, going around shaking hands with the guys and gals that are gathered here for Championship Wrestling today.
Yeah. Meeting the crowd there. Good-looking team. Well, look at the upper arms as they come around here. You talk about being in fine, fine shape. That team is right there as they step up under the ring apron. This will be a one-fall, 15-minute time limit match. Introducing, first of all, from parts unknown at a total weight of 458 pounds under the mask, the Raiders. And going against them, total weight 545 pounds from Atlanta, Georgia, and from California, Justice and Flash, the Freedom Fighters. One fall, 15-minute time limit. Freedom Fighters, Jim Hellwig, Steve Borden, referee Jerry Calhoun. Raiders jump them from across the ring, and we are underway.
And both of them down as a cover by Justice. 1, 2, 3, and that's it.
Well, I tell you, that didn't take long.
I think
9 seconds.
We have seen them twice on Championship Wrestling for a total of 42 seconds, I think.
That's about right. The Raiders made a critical mistake, and they tried to jump them. When you're looking at opponents across the ring that are that much bigger and also in that great a shape, as we had just mentioned on their way to the ring, you just don't do that. Well, the Raiders tried it, and they paid for it as the Freedom Fighters, Justice and Flash, Jim Hellwig and Steve Borden, take the win. Again, the time on it was 9 seconds.
Yeah, because the Raiders flipped across the ring before the bell was ever sounded. And promoter, Mr. Eddie Marlin. Eddie, good to see you out here. You're not, well, I don't want to make mention, but I got to tell you, Eddie, boy, I'm glad that's all over with.
Yeah, me too. I came out to answer some questions for the fans. A lot of them has asked me, why don't you fire Bill Dundee? But if I fire him, he's just gone, you know. This way I can keep booking him until somebody beats his brains out, and I'll get to watch it. And that's what I'm looking for.
He got a hold of you out here. I mean, there's no question about it.
Boy.
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah. He gave me the worst beating, I guess, I've ever had in my life. I'm overweight. Everybody knows it. Me mostly. 5 years past retirement, and he whipped me just at his choice. But when I was in my prime, I could have stayed with Bill Dundee.
Hey, I don't have any doubt. Okay, Billy. We don't need you out here causing any kind of trouble, please.
Eddie, I don't want to stand and look at some piece of glass monitor. Tell me to my face how great I am, Eddie. You just tell me, you just admit to the world how great Bill Dundee is and how bad you are.
I didn't say that you was great. I'm not going to say you was great. I said that I was 5 years past retirement. I'm overweight, and you might say out of date.
You are, brother.
But in my prime, Bill Dundee, I could have stayed right with you, young man.
It was so easy last week, I want to do it again.
Come on, Billy. Good night. Will you get off of it? Come on, Bill. Come on here. Come on, Bill. Leave it alone. Guys, don't shoot him. Get somebody out here, will you? Let's take a break, and we'll be back here in just a moment. Okay, we're going to be back in the ring here in just a moment. Well, I got got to tell you one thing. If that's proving you're a man, I didn't like it a
How did
bit.
you like that?
I'll tell you, I didn't like it one
We
bit.
ought to just beat Russell up and take over this show. That would be the right thing to do. Beat up today? Well, I'm just two guys who can really accommodate you. That was so easy, man. I figured I could have done that with one hand. Just tie one little hand there. I'll beat him up anyway. We got to be the baddest dudes in town. I believe I can whoop anybody walking on the face of this house. No, you can beat him with one hand tied behind you. Bill, I don't know who Eddie Marlin thinks he is, but you can whoop Eddie Marlin one hand behind you and a blindfold over your eyes. You can beat him. No, that would make it even. He thinks he is. He's admitted he's 5 years past his prime.
That's
He's
right.
overweight. He's out of date. He's in a young man's profession out here, and he's out here trying to push Bill Dundee
He
around.
wasn't dry. All he
tried
had,
to push
he had
Bill Dundee
guts enough
around.
to get in the ring at least.
Hey, if
something
he
like
kept
that.
his big mouth shut and hadn't said when he was in his prime he could have beat me up, I wouldn't have been mad.
He just said he could have stayed with you if he was in his prime.
Well, when was his prime? 1932 or what? Is that his prime?
Now, come on, let's not. We've had it, you know.
It's not going to be, but Bill Dundee stood right out here and said that he could beat me blindfolded and he could beat me with one hand tied behind me. I may be 5 years past my time, overweight, but I'm still a man, and that match will be signed, Bill Dundee. You'll tie your hand behind you and you'll put a mask on your face, and I'm going to get in that ring and see what I can do about evening up for this right here.
Yeah. It's going to be what?
I got his name on the contract. He'll either do it or all the fans will get what they want. He will be fired.
Oh, no, you'll throw your weight around now, Marlon, right?
One prerogative.
I thought you was a man. Okay, listen, I'm going to accept your challenge. I'm going to accept your challenge. I'll put the blindfold. I'll tie one hand behind my back. And you ain't going to fire me. You just leave them two big muscle-bound freaks in the dressing room, Daddy. You blindfolded the one eye behind you. Got it.
Yeah, well, you're the one that opened the mouth and said he could beat him with one hand behind his back and with a blind.
I didn't know anybody's going to come out and sign no match. That ain't fair, Eddie Marlin. So what he's saying is, if I don't wrestle him in them conditions, he's going to fire me.
That's what he said. That's exactly what he said.
Well, all I can say to you, boy, I hope you got a good lawyer.
Okay, Davey, enough of that. Let's head to the ring. We got action coming up here as the Sheep Herders will be in here in just a moment for our next championship wrestling bout. That'll be an interesting match. I love that. Opens his big mouth, one hand tied behind it, blindfold on.